My brother said, what you have is a gift from our ancestors. And it's your responsibility to teach everyone, that we're here. We have a voice. And he says, and you're the voice.
You can tell a lot about an artist through their work.
That's Shagla, or She Who Watches.
Each of Lillian Pitt's pieces reveals a sliver of her soul.
She overlooked the village where my great-great-grandmother lived.
Telling stories from her culture.
The legend has it that long ago, when people could talk to the animals and the animals back to the people, well, Coyote the Changer came down the gorge and asked the villagers if they lived well.
The history of her ancestors, told through artistic expression in clay, bronze, prints, and glass.
He says, well, I need to talk to your leader. They said, well, that's Shaglal, she's up the hill. And Coyote trotted up the hill and asked her, how are you going to watch over your people? And he said, changes are going to come. People of different color are going to come and change our ways. How will you watch over your people? And she didn't know. And that's when Coyote changed her into a rock so she can watch over everybody forever.
But Lillian says she didn't actually grow up with these stories.
Asked my parents, why didn't I know about this? And they said, well, because of the boarding schools.
In the late 1800s, Native American children were taken from their parents and put into boarding schools, forbidden from speaking their languages, participating in traditional activities, whitewashing away their indigenous culture. Today, historians refer to the practice as cultural genocide.
And then again, Mom said, if you're quiet, then you won't draw attention to yourself and you won't get picked on.
She was born on the Warm Springs Reservation.
Raised in a two-room house, no electricity, no running water, no indoor plumbing. And so, but we didn't know any different.
An independent spirit, her Native American name, Wakamu, means camas root, a stubborn plant that won't let go of the earth. It reflects the time she spent wandering the hills during her childhood.
I was up in the hills, laying on the ground, watching the ants run around and stuff like that. And so it's pretty much a loner, and I kind of enjoyed doing what I wanted to do.
Where did you find your artistic ability?
Well, I didn't know I had it. My dad was very artistic, musical, and could draw. It wasn't until 20 years after I graduated from Madras High School that I took ceramics, and that was just on a whim.
A hairdresser for her early adult life, Lillian had to find a new path after a bad back forced her to retire.
I had to quit, and then I thought I'll go to school.
At 32, she enrolled at Mount Hood Community College, taking classes in mental health and human services.
I found out about myself, that I'm a real person. I'm a real person that has valid feelings and emotions, and I didn't have to quiet myself, as Mom always said.
But a spark of destiny was about to ignite in the ceramics room.
And it was love at first touch, and I would just be as mesmerized with it as I was with the ants when I was little. And I've never been that excited about any one thing before.
After finishing her first pieces, a showing brought Lillian face to face with the man known as the Picasso of American Indian artists, R.C. Gorman.
Then he said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I didn't want to say I was a student." So I said, "Oh, I'm an artist," and boldly.
Lillian's life and purpose changed forever.
He was so patient and so generous. He bought 2 pieces.
While her first pieces represented Native American culture, she says they weren't interpretations from her own indigenous history.
Because I felt kind of guilty selling these items that weren't really from my background, I went over to home, to Warm Springs and talked to my elders. And I asked them, who am I and where are we from?
It led her down a path of self-discovery through her ancestors who had lived in the Columbia River Gorge for thousands of years, through the Warm Springs, Wasco, and Yakama people.
And they moved us to Warm Springs and called us the Warm Springs Wasco, and took away our names from the Columbia River. You know, these are our names. And so they told me all this stuff about me.
She realized her work came with responsibility.
It was just mind-blowing for me. And I've been busy since. So. And then these are from the petroglyphs and pictographs in the Columbia River Gorge. It gave me such a sense of power, and one that no one can ever take away from me. You know, that I know who I am, where I'm from, and I have a purpose for my life. And my elders said, we're glad you're doing what you're doing because you're letting people know we're still here, that nobody's gotten rid of us, and you'll continue to speak our message.
It's a message she's shared with the next generation. At 77 years old, Lillian continues to create and tell the stories of her people.
It represents our determination not to be extinct.
Keeping her culture alive so that others don't have to wait to discover their true identity.
So when you see your pieces on prominent display here at Fort Vancouver, and when you see, just visitors coming in and not just admiring your work, but wanting to learn more about it, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. It makes me feel like I'm doing my job. It's my responsibility to do this, and I don't feel burdened by it. It's a privilege to do it, and so yeah.